when you started doing payroll, one thing that happens is if anything goes wrong on payroll, the employees are calling me. Hi, my name is Priscilla Grant. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a wife, mother, and new grandmother. I run $1 million pediatric home healthcare agency, and I have a government contracting business. Today, I have my husband here with me.
Hey, y'all.
We run both businesses together.
Yep.
And today, we want to have a conversation about running a business with your spouse, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Welcome, husband.
Hey, babe.
So let's talk about how we got here a little bit.
Okay.
So we met in 2015.
Yes.
Got married 6 months later. So we got married pretty quickly. We both are previously divorced, so
Yes.
we kind of knew what we wanted pretty early on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working in computer technology
Right.
for a company called Accenture, and you were
I was an aircraft technician working for Delta Airlines.
and we moved in together pretty quickly. We got married in Vegas
First.
and had a
And
wedding
then-
later that year.
Yep.
But one of our struggles was my job.
Yes.
I wasn't progressing the way I thought I should have been. I got my master's degree. I was picking up all these projects at work. Everybody was just saying, hey, work a little harder, pick up more projects,
Right.
do more things, and you'll climb the corporate ladder. And that was not happening. So one of the catalysts for this was when I was told I was going to be getting this new promotion, and then it was given to somebody else.
Right.
And then I got my 17-cent an hour raise, and
I said quit.
yeah, he told me to quit my job and pursue my business ideas, which honestly I had planned to do prior to meeting him. I was gonna quit and live on my 401k and start a business. So when he said that, that's what I did. I quit, and we struggled a little. Just with me feeling like I was now being taken care of, and I had to come to you for money.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to start a business, but I didn't know what to do. But
we sat around and talked about it, though.
Yeah.
Like everything we did, we would sit and we would talk about all
Communicate.
these business ideas.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that really, just sitting down and listening to each other
Yeah.
about what we want to do, where we're going. And then
we wrote on a poster
Yeah.
ideas that we wanted.
And then seeing you, like, I don't want to say you struggle, but to see you go to work day in and through,
Yeah.
through the week,
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what, she needs to do this.
Yeah.
And I want to support you, and that's really what it was all about. So,
Yeah. We, one of his moments he always references was us laying on the mattress on the floor.
Which was the lady on the floor?
Okay. The only reason it was
not
on the
bad.
floor
It was on the floor.
is because my bedposts were too big to fit in the bedroom.
No, it's okay.
I
It's all right. It's all right.
just want to explain that. Like, okay. But we made business plans. I had a tough time transitioning from working single mom to almost stay-at-home mom.
I think it was. I think it was a couple of things. I think for and I don't want to say for everybody, but like that's kind of hard to like be this independent mother,
Yeah.
or be independent mom, and
Yeah.
then like 6 months later to get married, and now you're
I'm not
depending.
working.
You're
Yeah.
dependent on this person.
Yeah.
To provide. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And not really. I mean, 6 months is kind of short.
Very.
So that's a lot for a person. But we got through it.
Yeah, so I had to get over that hump first before I
Yes.
can even get myself in the mind state to start any one of these businesses. And the first thing we did was look into senior care. I did some research on what businesses were booming, what businesses were making money. Home health care was one of those.
Mm-hmm. But before all that, I'm kind of like, I don't know how far back we need to go, but before that, we had to set a foundation. We decided we need to move closer to my job at the time, and we got us a house.
We bought a house closer to his job.
Closer to the job, and then we started looking into businesses and stuff like that. So
yeah. So we borrowed some money from family to help invest in our first business. And we were able to get an SBA loan, which was, that was a doozy. The process, the paperwork, and it's a loan that we're actually still paying for right now.
Yeah.
Transition to home health care, and a little bit fast forward, the pandemic hit, and you were given the option to retire.
Actually, to like a buyout. I took I forgot what they called it, but I took a buyout. It was hard for me to do. It's kind of one of those things. I've worked since the age of 13, so like all of my family were like blue collar workers.
Yeah,
and that's what we did. We work, come home, take care of the family. But that transition, just was afraid. The unknown.
But the only reason you were able to take that buyout is because 2020. So we got married 2016. By 2020, we had sold the home health care agency for $4 and started this pediatric home health care agency, and we were making money. So we had put ourselves in a pretty good position when the pandemic hit, so that we were making money from this business, and it wasn't a business that had to shut down due to the pandemic. We were able to still send nurses in the home and just, protect them, do PPE, things like that. So we were making enough money to where he could take this buyout, which was a tough decision.
Yeah, and I got some money from it. And then we kind of like took that money and we went to buy a laundromat.
So we're in a new business and then bought another new business. So now there's two businesses working. We're working full time together. And so what would you say is the good about working together?
For me, the good for me is it's a couple of things, which I kind of took for granted.
Yeah,
it's a couple of things. One, it was being home and being with you and the kids. And it's not that I didn't see it, but when you're working and you're tied down, it's 40 hours a week, or you're working overtime. You didn't have that much room to like really have quality, like family time.
Yeah.
So the good for me is being home with my family. Me not working midnights. I've worked midnights my whole career. 21 years of aviation, and I've never got to see like daylight.
Yeah.
I would see it coming home or wake up after I got sleep, but and just the quality of life, man, it's just different. Like that's the good about it. So for me, it's like all of those things, a combination of things. So,
I'd say the good for me is we're married and we're business partners, but we're also good friends.
Yes.
So we have a lot of fun together.
Yes, I have lots of fun with you. I love it. It's a blast. Like just seeing you every day, you're like my best friend. Like I have a good time.
So, we've had our issues and we do therapy together. Yes. We learn about communication. We work on our argument style, but we have our moments. We have our good and bad days.
Oh, yeah.
Not days. I'd say good and bad moments.
There are moments.
We don't usually have days that are.
But usually it's something like family stuff or business stuff. But
yeah,
it's not like like relationship. You know, I mean,
No.
it's not like that. It's
you're a hoot.
huh?
You're a hoot. So
A
I have a
hoot?
good time with you. So let's talk bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
I can say, one of the things for me has been in the early stages, because during my transition of building the company, you were working.
Yeah.
So I gained this knowledge and experience and understanding of the business that you didn't really have a chance to gain,
Right.
because you were at work making money, providing for the family. But when you could help, you did help. So you coming on full time to the business, you're like, all right, put me in, coach.
Like, what do we do?
And I'm like, nah, like, what you mean? You're my partner. You're supposed to be coming in with ideas. You're supposed to not realizing that you're still in your learning curve. And I needed to be a little bit more patient with you. Mm-hmm. I kept in my head, I felt like you're coming in expecting me to be your boss and tell you what to do. And I don't want an employee right now. I need a business partner. And so that was a little frustrating.
Okay, so if we talk about the bad, like the transition was really hard for me. Yeah. It was probably one of the toughest things. Out of so I've been out of work for about 5 years.
Yeah.
So that transition from being a worker to being a business owner was really hard for me. I didn't know what to do with myself, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I'm so used to, when you're a worker, everything is laid out for you. You go into your job, okay, this person, I'm taking over for him, or I'm picking up something else, or I know my job that well that I'm thinking about how it can be, what's going to happen when I get to work.
There's already a blueprint.
Yes, it's
designed
a blueprint
for workers. But
being an entrepreneur, there ain't no blueprint.
We
ain't
just
no
trying
roadmap. It's like just like looking around, like what's going on? It's confusing. It's not chaotic, but
there's some chaos.
You have to have. I don't want to say tenacity. You have to have like this somewhere in amongst all that chaos. You gotta have drive.
Yeah.
Some little bit of drive, a little bit. And I think we get that from your military background.
Yeah, we're both prior military. Yes. Air Force.
Marine Corps.
And that beat down, and then that wake up again at 4 a.m. and then that beat down, and then that wake up again at 4 a.m. Like it keeps you in rotation. It puts something in you that can't stop, that can't quit.
Can't stop. Like, whoa.
Okay, but that mentality where you just you can't give up.
Yeah,
you don't have a choice but to keep going.
For me, like just like trying to find that path, but you have to make your own way. Yeah. Like you have to make a routine for yourself. So if you have a routine for yourself you like what you did at your prior job, what you did for work, you have to make a routine. So I made it a habit. Okay, make a list of what you're gonna do.
Put things in our phone.
Yes, put it in the calendar.
Everything's in the phone, in the calendar. Multiple calendars.
Yes, and then there's communicating, and then like just like looking forward to like completing those tasks as you're doing it, and then adding more things, and then like from the time I left until the time now,
you're different.
I'm different, and I wasn't confident then, but now like I have the confidence. Like I'm hiring, I'm firing, I'll
tell you like the moment I was like, oh okay, he got this. Like when we had the laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the first things you said is like, when we get the laundromat, man, we need to fire all these people. We need to start over. And I was like, okay, you are losing it, man. Like, who's going to work in there? And you were like, I'll work in there if I have to. I'm like, okay, do you want to be an employee or do you want to be a business owner?
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, okay, I guess I would be an employee if I work in there.
Business for you to go back to work. But we eventually ended up having to fire all those people because they eventually did things to get fired. Like, did they do things? But when you were like, nah, I'm going in to fire so-and-so today, I was like, oh, yeah, I went in, I had the conversation, I let him go. So what's next? I was just like, oh.
You know, as you was telling me the other day, you get slow to hire, quick to fire.
Yeah.
I don't know who made that quote
yeah.
up, but
yeah.
So, you know, it's like, I'm not mean, but like,
oh, not at all.
You're fired. Gotta say it. Just say it to yourself.
You got real comfortable with saying it.
Like, yeah, I'm
even
gonna hire
when
you.
I wasn't as comfortable.
No,
I was like
you're fired.
So that was, I mean, I think that's a theme, like transitioning from that employee role to that managerial space is tough. Like, everybody has their different challenges with it. But if you think you're just gonna go from being a 20-year employee, whether you worked at one company or multiple companies, you were an employee of somebody, to now being a business owner and there not be some transitional challenges, that's not true. Because again, there's no blueprint. There's no roadmap. There's nobody to say, hey, you didn't do that right. You need to fix it. Or there's no eval that says, you know,
you need to perform.
Outstanding or
you need to do something better.
Like, no, like the eval is either you make money or you don't.
Yes, sink or
and
swim.
when you don't make money, it's like, oh man, I did that so wrong.
Yeah,
like,
really wrong.
And now I'm broke.
What do I do?
So, the ugly.
The ugly.
So that's better than bad.
That's like ugly. My Lord. I want to say employees. No?
I think employees for me. I think for you.
Oh no, ugly for me would be.
You mentioned like disappointment.
That's it. I'm so sorry, y'all. Okay, so in the 5 years,
almost five.
For me, it is disappointment. Like, I'm not I'm a perfectionist in some way.
I was
okay, so let's, as an aircraft technician, you're taught to finish a job.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, that's what you learn to do.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're taught to put caps on everything, on fluid lines, and it's always a redundancy. You're always taught to steps to do things in a certain order. Properly. And so, like, I feel like letting, and I don't want to say this, but I'm just going to say it. Letting my wife down is probably like one of the hardest things. It felt like that. That's how I felt. But in the reality of things, it wasn't really letting you down. You know what I'm saying? Or letting anyone down. That's just what I felt. And it took me time, or taking time to remove my feelings from the business.
I know when you started doing payroll, that was a big challenge.
Yeah.
So, probably, and back to the employees being the ugly for me, it's not the employees specifically, it's the disappointment sometimes in people that.
Yeah.
So I guess for both of us, it could be disappointment. But for me, to have people in my head, you know, when I hire people or when I meet people, for whatever reason, my brain develops this whirlwind of how this is going to work, and I picked this is going to be great, and I'm going to do this with this person, and then this situation turns out the total opposite, and that is a huge disappointment for me. So for you, when you started doing payroll,
right,
and I'm going to tie this together. So when you started doing payroll, one thing that happens is if anything goes wrong on payroll, the employees are calling me.
Yeah.
They're like, I know we get paid on Friday, but my check usually come on Wednesday and I don't see my check. Or why you have me down for 20 hours when I work 30 hours, or like whatever it is, I get those phone calls. So then I take that energy and I transfer it to him, and I'm like, what is going on? All these people are calling me about payroll, whatever. And now he has to figure out
what I screwed up, what I messed up. I'm like, oh my God, this it hurt. Honestly, look, I've learned that business and emotion don't go together.
I don't
like, honestly, like and I don't mean like totally.
You cannot
take away emotion, but like
emotional.
No, I'm saying like business. It's just like I've learned to curve it a little bit and not take it personal. Not take it personally. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It's not personal. Yeah. This ain't got nothing to do with your personal thing. This is business. Yeah. And that's when it boils down, at the end of the day, you have, like, this is responsibility. You have employees. You have
because you
clients.
Got people waiting on their check.
Yes,
people got to pay their rent and feed their kids.
Like they're counting on this. So this is something that you can't mess up. So don't take it personally. Yeah. This is just business. Like, hey, these people are waiting on their checks. It's like when you used to work and your check was messed up. You went right to your lead or whoever and says, hey, my money didn't come through and I need this money because you're counting on that money. Yeah. So I learned to turn that around and be like, no, you're a business owner now. And you got to own up to your entrepreneur shit. You got to own up to it. Hey, step up to the plate.
Yeah.
You got to bring it.
Yeah.
And so that's basically... I've gotten way better with it. So
you're great. You're doing
I appreciate it.
You're doing awesome. So, what are some things you've heard from people? Like some things that people have said to us when they realize, we work together or we're together all the time. Oh man,
how do you work with your wife, man? That's crazy. I can't work with my wife. No way. I'm like. Why? She's my best friend. Like,
I'm glad you like me.
I do. I mean, planning things and doing things together. And I mean, it's just not the business. Like, it's the business things, but like, it's the decision making and it's the strategy and it's the again, like. We talk business.
Yeah.
We eat business. We sleep business. Like
all day, every day.
But it don't bother me because it doesn't affect nothing in our life. Like it's us. It's
I'm just like, we have to curve it sometimes when we realize we're at dinner talking about business or we're in bed and we're talking about business. So we're learning to curve that and not let it take over our marriage.
Right.
But I also comprehend that when you're talking a business partner, that's a marriage in itself.
Yes.
That's a relationship in itself. So if you have somebody around you, and we've gotten these, situations where there's family or people that, want to talk business with us or want to give a business idea. And, we always respond with, information or education or whatever we can. But if you have somebody in your life that you're considering doing business with, it would be beneficial to understand that person thoroughly. like you need to know, like, can I travel with this person?
Yes.
Can I, go broke with this person because, you know, how does this person act when they broke? How does this person spend money? Yes. You know, are they frivolous with their spending? Do they shop all the time? Are their bills paid?
But what about the decision making? You know, like,
yeah.
It's not like,
do they make good decisions in life?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's going to be a reflection of whether they make good decisions in business. So
it's a lot of things. Just compatibility. Being compatible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not that I say, you know, you got people say, I like you.
Yeah.
But like,
I tell you I like you.
Yeah, you tell me all the time. I said I like you
a
too,
lot.
Zilla. I like you too.
I mean, that's different than I love you, you know? Like,
Right.
I really like you. I genuinely like you as a person.
I appreciate that.
Okay, good.
Priscilla.
So, when you say compatibility, you know, I just think that goes back to, you know, I say like I'm left brain and you're like right brain. Our differences work together. You know, we don't have to be the same. You know, you're always like, you're so good at typing. You're so good at writing papers and stuff. I wish I was good at that. And I'm like, why do you need to be good at that? If I have that, you know, you put stuff together. You built a whole kitchen. You know, you helped. We renovated our bathroom. So like, I don't need you to be great at the stuff I'm great at. Like, your brain works in a mechanical way that mine doesn't.
Right.
I see shiny things. I see big dreams. I see, you know, Mount Everest, and you're like, hey, you know.
Do you know that you got to do these steps to get up to the mountaintop?
What steps? I just see the top.
You need
it's
oxygen,
so pretty.
You need climbing gear.
Who needs that? Sherpa. What? So you kind of bring me back to earth. Not kind of, like you do. I'm floating out there in the atmosphere. And you're just like, hey, you know.
And it's that balance, you know, amongst each other. It's and if it's not balance, it's communication. It is constant.
Yeah.
Constant.
Yeah.
And when I say constant, you as a business partner, you need to communicate. Seriously.
So just quick story about where our communication went a little left this past couple of weeks. You know, like, we had a plan to go talk to a vendor about presenting a new product to them, a product that we were going to assist in, changing it so it fit what they needed.
What they needed, yeah.
And I'm preparing to go in with him to have that conversation, and I go to a doctor's appointment and end up in the ER. So now he has to go do this by himself. So I text him as much as I can from the emergency room. Hey, so, you know, make sure you mention this, because I have my spiel together. So now I got to give it to him via text. And he's like, all right, got it, done, And then he goes in and you do the part, but you also throw in another option.
I did.
That we discussed previously.
I know. So I'm a really optimistic guy, and I want business. Like, I want the business. Like, I don't care what it is, and that's sometimes that is. And I want to say that's like that personal thing in business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
like, you just want to make the deal.
Yeah, I want to make the deal. I want to capture the deal. I you know, and everybody's happy, you know, and that's not always the case. Like, stick to the plan. That's where the communication comes in.
So what happened was you made the other option. Yep. You gave option A, which was my option, and option B. Yeah. But option B wasn't as beneficial for us, which is why I didn't choose to give it. But since you gave both, the vendor went with option B, and it kind of cut us out of
cut us out of the deal.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
finagle it. We're gonna see.
Trying to salvage it,
but it was a small point of contention between the two of us, because I'm just like, wait, why'd you throw that in there? And you're like, I didn't see anything wrong with mentioning it, and I was just like,
But you cut us out of the deal.
and again, with the communication, I didn't communicate that to you. We didn't have a conversation about why I was choosing option A or that strategy. So you didn't know. I knew in my head, but I didn't communicate it to you properly. Right. So just having a strategy and a plan in case you show up at a doctor's appointment and they send you down to the ER.
Or anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't have to be the ER. Yeah. I mean, it could be car broke down or something.
Yeah. So. And then your partner has to go in and represent the business, but the strategy wasn't discussed.
And so having a plan, you know, what, especially when it comes to a deal, like both people need to be on point.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're not discussing this. This is what we're doing. This is how it's going to go down, and stick to the plan. And, hopefully you capture that deal.
And if you don't,
hey, listen, there is enough for everybody.
On to the next.
Everybody
We're working a contract that's due tomorrow, so a whole different one.
Okay, so I want to go back to leaving my job and getting into the business owner.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite pretty much explain, the expectations that I kind of had. Like I left, and then it was like, now I'm done, and I'm looking at you like, so what are you doing?
Put me in, coach.
Put me in, coach.
No, were those expectations I placed on you, or that you?
No. One, I'm gonna say this. One, I felt like I wanted you to get me up to speed because I was behind, and because when we had the first business, which was the nursing business, the senior business. I was kind of there, but I wasn't really there.
Yeah, you had like
kind of like, yeah, what you doing? Yeah. Go ahead, do whatever you got to do.
What we got to do today?
But I'm gonna be over here fixing these planes, and I see you when I see you. Yeah. That's basically what I was doing.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really. And again, I don't want to say I had expectations like to put on you. It was just more of like I didn't really know what to do.
But also, that business was a franchise. So we had a kind of a blueprint. Franchising will give you more of a blueprint than kind of going into entrepreneurship on your own. Right. But we were leaving a franchise and starting something completely on our own. Right. So now I'm in the day-to-day, and I'm kind of...
Like, you're already immersed in the business. And I kind of like... I guess my expectation was like, catch me up. Put me in, coach. What do I got to do? And it was more like, I'm already over here,
But I'm thinking I'm getting my partner.
Yes.
My business partner. Time. Yeah. And also, I think part of that was you're a great partner in this marriage. So my marriage partner is spot on.
Right.
He got that. He's doing it all right. So when he becomes my business partner, watch out, world.
Yeah,
he about to come in here he about to come in here and lay the smack down. And came in a little like
crickets, like so what you doing there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing payroll. I'm doing this and I'm doing that.
And I think that was also a challenge to your manhood at some times too, because you go from being the man of the house, the breadwinner, the leader in the home, to now your wife is running a business and you aren't in that. You're not coming in that leadership role.
It was a lot of things. My manhood, the challenges of just like trying to find my place and trying to get my footing, because I was just so behind in just the day-to-day stuff that you have to do in businesses, and where I fit in and how I can double dutch into this moment and make things happen. I really didn't have a blueprint. There's no blueprint again as an entrepreneur. So slowly making a routine for myself, that's what really kind of like helped me.
I also think we spoke about this with the therapist, and one thing she told me is he needs a position, not like, hey, here, I'll throw you a bone. Here's what you can help me with.
Yeah,
Hey, I need help
you were
with this.
doing that.
Yeah,
that kind of got on your nerves too.
yeah.
And I was
I'm just like,
it was frustrating.
And you didn't have a position like I'm the CFO or I'm the HR or I'm the payroll guy. You were just kind of picking up things wherever you could get it. Mm-hmm. So once we locked down your position in the business and what, I could look to you for and what you could contribute, it kind of put you in a space where you could grow confidence and
it did, it really helped me. Just like you growing, a little bit of patience with me. And I think we had a talk about that. I said, babe, this is what it makes me feel like. I feel like this.
Yeah.
And, I'm trying to transition from being a worker to a business owner, and I don't have that confidence. And I said that to you, like, I don't have the confidence like you. You've been doing this since the first business. Yeah. And now I'm putting these expectations on you to like give me the blueprint, and it's unfair. Yeah. And so I'm trying, but I always try. I said, babe, I'm trying. Like, give me that at least.
And that pulled at my heartstrings. Like, what are you doing here? Like, like this, I think at one point you even discussed with me, how I talk to you, and, like, you don't have to be so frustrated when you explain things to me, and you don't, and I really had to check my responses, and my frustration, and say, like, okay, it's still my husband. I can't just be mad at him because he don't know how to do something. So that was a reality check for me. So to kind of wrap up, I would ask, what do you think is the biggest advice you would give to people considering becoming a business owner with their spouse?
Biggest advice. I really think gotta be compatible and like each other. Like I like working with you.
Yeah.
I have coworkers, and it was people that I like working with. And it was people that I like, no. And I go to my lead and be like, not put me with that person. I cannot. And even though I had to work with them, I didn't like it. Yeah. It was just a long night for me. But finding that compatibility, that match, and I'm not going to say it's not always going to be that for everybody.
But also as a spouse, I always tell you I like you.
Yes.
Like, I say I love you, and I say some days I'm like, I really like you.
I like you too,
because love and like are two different emotions in my head.
Yes.
I can love certain people, family. I can love certain friends, but they might not be the type of people I would hang out with if we weren't family. Or, they might not be the type of people, I'd want to wake up to every day and spend every day with and do everything with all day, and then go to bed with, I would get tired of you. Certain people, I would just feel like, yeah, okay, I'm glad. What time are they leaving?
Yeah, like, wrap it up here. Like, come on.
But you're not that person. Like, I really enjoy, like, things we do: travel, eating, hanging out, watching TV, sitting in the backyard, going to the park, taking a walk, going to sleep, whatever. We can do it all day, every day. And we spend all day, every day together.
I have fun. Like, it's fun to wake up to you. I enjoy your time. I enjoy just, you make me happy, and just the business, everything. It's all like comes together. It's all congruent. It's all,
So I think our biggest advice would be, if you want to run a business with your partner, you got to really like that person's personality. You have to like their management style. Yes. And not like management just business, but how they manage the kids, how they manage their family members, how they manage other people, and just like characteristics about them that you're going to have to deal with all day.
Right. I always say that ship, that relationship, that friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
gotta find that sweet spot in there, because it doesn't work for that. It doesn't always work. Yeah. You gotta kind of like pick your battles and work things out and communicate. Communication to me is one of the biggest things. Amongst all that. So
I have fun with you today.
Yeah. A little nervous.
Well, listen, this is stuff we talk about all the time.
I know, right?
In the car, no radio on vacation, no TV on. We're just having conversations. So this conversation has been about relationships and how to run a business with your spouse, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.